Welcome back to Real Savant, where we bring you recaps of the most awesome movies. From action, to horror, to comedy, to something the family will enjoy. We have something for everyone. Today, we bring you Fury, a war movie starring Brad Pitt that was released back in 2014. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. The story of the Nazi forces' battle against the Allies opens the film. While examining the wreckage of a battle, a Nazi soldier astride a white horse is ambushed and murdered beside Sergeant Don Collier, well known as War Daddy in combat. War Daddy releases the horse and returns to the Fury tank. Boyd Bibleswan, Trini Gordo Garcia, and Grady Kunas Travis, his soldiers, are inside. While repairing the tank, Kunas accuses War Daddy of being responsible for their misfortune. The death of one of their allies during an assault has left them all broken and distraught. At the ideal moment for Kunas to complete mending Fury, they leave the battleground. Sergeant Binkowski welcomes War Daddy back to the Allied camp. Following some time spent conversing, a soldier approaches War Daddy and inquires as to the whereabouts of the platoon, but War Daddy and his soldiers remain the only survivors. Bible, Gordo, and Kunas converse about Red, their lost ally. Then War Daddy shows up and gives them a command. War Daddy is seen grieving over Red's passing alone. After some time, Private Norman Ellison approaches him. Norman introduces himself as the new bow gunner and assistant driver for War Daddy. War Daddy looks at Norman, unable to believe what he is hearing. Norman Ellison recently served 8 weeks in the Army. He is instructed by War Daddy to go visit the other unit members, obey commands, and avoid getting too close to anyone. Norman discovers Fury being fixed by the others. When Gordo opens his bag, he only discovers a book instead of a cigarette. The three threaten him and inquire about his military duties. Then Kunas gives him the order to clean Fury's inside. Norman looks inside a tank for the first time. He sees a torn-off face and begins to scrub the blood off. He exits the tank right away and throws up. Meanwhile, War Daddy discusses their situation with fellow soldiers, and an SS soldier prisoner is brought to the camp. There's a confrontation with the prisoner, but it's diffused by his comrades. The SS soldier encourages Norman to kill every German he encounters, highlighting Norman's lack of prior kills. War Daddy equips him with a gun, and Kunas provides guidance on its use. Following this, War Daddy coordinates the platoon's next steps as the mission's platoon sergeant. They prepare for their mission and head out, passing evacuating civilians, with War Daddy emphasizing the need for vigilance. While en route, Norman hesitates to fire at a suspicious figure, leading to a successful enemy ambush. Amid the ambush, a tank explodes, and Norman witnesses a soldier self-immolate. War Daddy swiftly eliminates the enemy responsible, revealing that they are just children. He admonishes Norman for his hesitation, and the weight of the death caused by his indecision weighs on Norman. War Daddy assumes leadership of the platoon, and they continue with their mission, eventually reaching their destination. There, they are greeted by a soldier who leads War Daddy to Captain Wagoner. Frustrated by the insufficient backup, Captain Wagoner still places his trust in War Daddy and discusses the mission to rescue his pinned-down soldiers in enemy territory. After that, they prepare and carry out the mission, when the squad arrives upon the downed soldiers and begins to save them, with tanks ahead and infantry behind. Then the enemy opened fire on them, resulting in a shootout. The enemy possesses anti-tank weaponry and powerful machine guns. Norman is still unaccustomed to battling in the interim. The soldier was reloading his gun when he realized that a soldier was about to fire them, and he was too scared to shoot back. Luckily, Bible came to his rescue. After reprimanding Norman, Gordo gives him the order to shoot the adversary who is on the ground. Norman refuses to double-tap them because he believes they have already passed away, but Gordo is adamant about it. Norman sobs and decides he no longer wants to fight. Gordo comforts him, telling him it's all part of the war, as War Daddy chastises him. They eventually prevailed over the Nazi soldiers. A soldier goes up to a man who is dying and offers prayers. War Daddy discusses Norman's errors with him. As it happens, Norman was just taken out and transferred to Germany. He is not equipped for combat. Afterward, the soldiers celebrate their victory. Gordo and Kunas are seen with a German woman, going inside Fury, and engaging in questionable activities. Meanwhile, War Daddy congratulates Norman for his role in killing the enemies, but Norman responds with sarcasm. War Daddy then takes him to an office filled with deceased individuals. Discussing war ideals, War Daddy attempts to make Norman realize something. As they step outside, War Daddy and Norman notice a woman peeking from a window. They promptly check her apartment and discover Irma and her younger cousin Emma in hiding. War Daddy decides to stay for a while, providing Irma with 2 packs of cigarettes in exchange for a meal and hot water for his shave. While the women prepare the food, everyone is surprised, including War Daddy, when Norman plays the piano. During a tender moment, Emma sings as Norman plays the piano. War Daddy encourages Norman to spend time with Emma, and they move into the bedroom. Irma considers intervening, but War Daddy calmly stops her, suggesting they let the young couple enjoy themselves. Emma and Norman share an intimate moment. Later, Bible, Gordo, and Kunas intrude, thinking a woman awaits Norman in the tank, but they quickly realize what has transpired. Later, they share a meal, but tension grows within the group. War Daddy intervenes to stop Kunas and others from bullying Norman and harassing Emma. While dining, Gordo narrates a story, increasing the underlying unease. War Daddy warns against spoiling the meal, but Gordo continues with a tale about killing a horse through trust betrayal. War Daddy's frustration surfaces as he sarcastically thanks them, slams the table, and spits on Kunas. Gordo apologizes when a soldier arrives with orders for them to capture a crossroad. This mission is perilous due to the unknown threats they may encounter. As they prepare to depart, a German shell strikes the house of Irma and Emma, resulting in Emma's death. Norman, deeply affected, is consoled and pushed back to the tank by Kunas. They head out to the crossroads, with Norman still grappling with Emma's loss. War Daddy, acknowledging the harsh reality of war, attempts to provide guidance and support. On their way to the crossroad, they fall into an enemy ambush, facing Tiger tanks. The intense battle takes a toll as the enemy eliminates Sergeant Davis, who is killed by a tank shell, and Sergeant Binkowski, who perishes in a fire. Fury, under War Daddy's command, faces off with a Tiger tank. War Daddy's strategic leadership allows them to destroy the Tiger tank and eliminate the enemy soldier. With War Daddy's attempts to notify their superiors hampered by a damaged radio, the surviving crew, including Norman, acknowledge their dire situation with laughter and determination to complete the mission. Fury reaches the crossroad but is immobilized by a landmine, losing a tread. War Daddy assigns Kunas and Norman to check a nearby building. Kunas apologizes to Norman, and after finding nothing but a dead German soldier, they return to the group. War Daddy then orders Norman to watch from a vantage point. During their meal, Norman hears approaching German soldiers and alerts War Daddy to the SS Battalion's march. Bible considers leaving, but War Daddy insists on completing the mission, despite Kunas pointing out their numerical disadvantage. Eventually, War Daddy permits anyone to leave, but he, as the platoon leader, decides to stay. One by one, the others choose to remain. They inquire about War Daddy's plan, and he instructs them to burn a deceased German soldier and camouflage Fury as a destroyed tank. With limited ammo, they await the right moment to attack. Inside Fury, they prepare their weapons and share their last drink, aware of the gravity of the situation. Bible expresses surprise as War Daddy recites the book and chapter of his favorite verse. Because Norman is a killing, fighting, and sex machine, as Kunas puts it, they also give him the war moniker Machine. Later, Machine notices that the enemy is getting closer to their tank. The others prepare after he alerts them. The combat begins as the enemy encircles Fury, and one of the soldiers unlocks a hatch, causing Machine to shoot him. This is the longest night a battalion has ever spent in a combat against 5. They smash up the enemy's tracks by hurling grenades at them. In addition, they demolish the structure nearby, which is the hiding place for many enemy soldiers during hostilities. The German soldiers retaliate with gunfire, but under War Daddy's leadership, the 5 manage to take the upper hand and murder numerous enemy soldiers. Sadly, they begin to run out of ammunition. War Daddy tells Gordo and Machine to cover him while he heads outside to grab some ammunition. Throwing smoke grenades, the two emerge from their hatch and shield War Daddy as he collects the ammunition. As soon as he has completed gathering, he tells them to go back inside for ammunition. Enemies manage to scale the tank just as he is ready to return inside. He repels them with combat, but not before taking a bullet. Fortunately, the wound is not lethal. His wound is bandaged by Bible, and they both agree on another verse. Conversely, the German forces unleashed their Panzerfaust. They intend to bombard the group with strikes non-stop. There is a brief hush that falls over the area. Both forces, especially War Daddy's troops, are cautious of one another because they are running low on ammunition. Then, with Panzerfaust and the 5 counterattacks, the enemy begins to fire at them. Regretfully, Fury suffers a strike to the side from an attacker, and it goes, killing Kunas with it. Bible cries out in pain, but War Daddy tells him to get up, since the conflict is still ongoing. The 4 of them keep battling, but the number of German soldiers is excessive. They launch grenades and gunfire at them in the same instant. They eventually ran out of ammunition after some time. The only things left for them are Fury and his 50 caliber machine gun and their hand weapons. Conversely, the Nazi forces intend to eliminate them since they are aware that their ammunition is running low. Returning to Fury, the 4 get ready to go, and another shootout ensues. While the rest are holding their firearms, War Daddy takes up position behind the machine gun. Bible eventually runs out of ammunition and exits to retrieve one from a fallen foe. Gordo, meanwhile, has been shot just as he is ready to launch a grenade. He uses his body to contain the blast after the explosive goes off inside the tank, saving War Daddy and Machine. There are now just 3 of them battling the German troops. Outside, he is restrained by the still-alive Nazi who Bible attempts to seize his weapon from. Just as another attacker is ready to assault him, Machine appears and saves him. When the enemies launch smoke grenades, the 2 return inside the tank. Then, we witness an attacker slowly moving toward Fury while carrying a disguised sniper. Returning to War Daddy, he is fending off the adversaries when he signals Bible to deliver a grenade. However, the shooter shoots Bible in the head as soon as he emerges from the hatch. This time, the sniper fires once more and hits War Daddy. Seeking to complete the kill, he fires at him once more. However, War Daddy succeeds in entering the tank. War Daddy and Machine have frank conversations inside. Machine acknowledges his fear, but War Daddy also feels fear. Machine tries to give up, but War Daddy threatens to kill him with torture. The opposing men storm the tank from the outside and throw hand grenades. Machine makes his way out of the tank through the bottom hatch after sharing one last look with War Daddy. A young German soldier discovers him as he tries to conceal himself by covering in mud. Beseeching silently, the German pretended he didn't saw Machine and carried on. He is spared life by a soldier. The sound of a white horse going by wakes him up the following morning. He returns to the tank and covers War Daddy's lifeless body. He grabs War Daddy's handgun upon hearing sounds outside and is ready to fight. He is, however, relieved to find that it's an American soldier who opens the hatch. They declare him a hero and load him into an ambulance. The final scene of the film shows a severely damaged Fury, with German army corpses scattered around, and Norman Ellison, now known as Machine, the lone survivor. If you managed to get this far, we sincerely thank you for watching the whole thing. If you have a movie or TV show that you want us to cover, just comment it down below. We might do a video of it in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our playlist for more recaps.